JEM is my name, no one else is the same. JEM is my name. JEM.
I would like to, if I may, expand on my critique of Rio and Jerrica's relationship. So, I had said that Jerrica was being a bit of a putz muffin, and Rio was letting her walk all over him, apologizing for things that I don't feel he really needs to be apologizing for. I don't think it presents him in a great light. So here's what's going on, just to recap. Jerrica is JEM. Rio thinks JEM is potentially a diva, or a diva who is potentially a detriment to the band. He's a music reporter. He's seen this stuff happen. He cares about Jerrica and her sisters, so he just wants to warn her that I've seen problems arise from this type of behavior. Jerrica unwisely takes this personally. Unwisely, but understandably, because she is JEM. So she does snap at Rio on occasion when he's critical of JEM, because she's taken that personally when she really shouldn't be. Jerrica, at this point in the story, not very good at pretending to be a different person for Rio's benefit, and is taking those frustrations out on him. Which, again, putz muffin behavior. Still understandable, though. And you might be thinking, well, Andrew, if you find her behavior understandable, what's your problem? Do you feel that comic characters, or characters in entertainment medium, should be flawless individuals who never make any mistakes ever? No, that would be boring. Where I have a problem, I feel, is it doesn't appear that the authors realize that JEM's being a bit of a putz muffin. The authorial intent, from my reading, appears to be JEM is correct and Rio is in a position that he should be apologizing. That may not be the intention, that may not be your interpretation, but that's my read of it. And that's rubbing me the wrong way. Every way is the wrong way to rub me. I'm like tech right. Don't touch me! I think that's the major problem I'm having with that relationship. Not the fact that Jerrica is unintentionally presenting JEM in a bad light and taking what's supposed to be a different person's actions personally and taking that out on Rio. That's, as I've mentioned, that's understandable. I can totally see a person doing that. That's human behavior, and that's great to see in character work. The problem is, again, restated, it doesn't feel like the authors know that. I think that could be fixed just with some aside somewhere. And I went back through just to make sure I didn't miss anything, and I'm pretty sure I didn't. Just some an aside to, an internal monologue thing, or an aside to her sisters or something, saying like, I'm really messing this up, or I'm taking Rio's critiques on JEM personally, but gall darn it, it makes me mad. Something that lets the reader in on the fact that the story authors understand that she's being a bit of a putz muffin. So, I just wanted to clarify that. It's not that I have a problem with characters having flaws or making poor decisions. It's when the narrative itself doesn't seem to realize that the characters are making bad decisions that doesn't sit right with me. So, here we are in issue 10, which is a Rio-focused story, which I figured was going to be some background on Rio, get to know Rio a little bit. And you do. You get to know who he is as a person a little bit more, and boy, is he an endearing little dork. But mainly, this story is an excuse to, through Rio's job as a journalist for a music blog, we get a chance to get to know the Misfits other than Pizzazz a little bit better. So this takes place in the aftermath of the previous issue where Pizzazz gets in a car wreck. She's at the hospital. Rio finds out, and he's there even before Stormer gets there. Stormer gets there, and she's really upset, of course, because she... I don't remember if she made the phone call or not. I could actually check. Let's see. Who makes the phone call? Doobie-doobie-doo. Looks like it's Jeddah, actually. But she finds out through this incident that she, Stormer, is Pizzazz's emergency contact. And it's like, huh. Oh. You know, so she's having one of those moments. And the structure of this is Rio and Stormer are. She says Roxy and Jeddah should be here, but I don't know where Jeddah lives, and maybe Roxy has her place in Venice somewhere. And Rio says, I've tracked them down before, I can do it again. And so the structure of this is we keep flashing back. It's the I could just show pictures. It's the purple tinted panels that are flashbacks to Rio discovering things. Pizzazz in her quieter moments. He knew about Stormer and Kimber's relationship because he walked in on them smooching once. He's just kind of quietly hanging out in the background, just, being a fly on the wall, and people just don't notice them and drop their guard because he's just quietly observing. So he has interviewed Roxy before and found out that she and Jeddah are roommates, which they want to keep on the down low because they think Pizzazz would be against that. And Rio speculates that Pizzazz would like, I don't want them living together because that might get them talking and interacting and maybe planning and plotting against me to outvote me in band matters. We don't know if that's true or not, but it's an interesting theory. And we also clarify for the umpteenth time that Roxy really likes bagels. So, just a big fan of bagels. Not to make a big deal about it, bagels are pretty good. But, yeah, she's a big old fan of them bagels. So, knowing where Roxy and Jeddah live, he goes, tells them what happened, and they run to the hospital. Meanwhile, Rio's boss is trying to get him to capitalize on the fact that Pizzazz is hurt to write an article. And he is really upset with that because while he is a professional and a reporter, he's also their friend, and in this case, their confidant. And he says, you should probably put someone else on this. I'm here as a friend right now, and that I'm not comfortable exploiting this tragedy for page views, right? So he's got a lot of integrity, but his boss, Rob, subtly implies that you're not going to have a job unless you write something. So in his frustration, he kicks a plant. Which I'm glad that they brought that back. That's pretty good. The motivation's completely different, but it really works here. He's he's having a crisis of conscience, and he kicks over a potted plant, and he's like, sorry, and he puts it back up. That's great. So he goes over to the holograms, and he asks them for a favor, because he's, again, through the grapevine, he's heard that the holograms are going to be opening for the Misfits on their West Coast tour. And the holograms actually didn't even know about this, but they called their the main woman at the 5x5 records, and they confirmed that yeah, they are going to be the opening act. So Rio says, here's the problem I'm in. I don't want to exploit this particular tragedy. And of course, Aja freaks out about this because she's like, "Oh, great! I may as well just drop a lighting rig on myself, make it easier." You know, he's like, "Look, no one. I don't think exploiting anyone's tragedy is a great thing. So here's what I propose: if I can do a short interview with you guys about the fact that you're opening for the Misfits, then that can be the thrust of the article, and it can mention that Pizzazz is in the hospital with a possible broken larynx, and that might cause an issue. And that's what they do, and it's nice. And there's a panel where Rio is interviewing the holograms and JEM. And I'm like, well, how did they pull this off? But in the next panel, you see Jerrica standing across the room watching. So probably JEM or Jerrica is a holographic projection to facilitate the ruse, which is nice. And then Rio goes back to the hospital, and the Misfits are Pizzazz is awake, and they're gathered around, and they brought Pizzazz's kitty. So that's nice. So, I had some issues with the issues with issues. I have issues. This comic has issues. So I had some problems with mostly antagonist motivations. I'm not clear on what the goals of some of the antagonists are, or why characters are doing things, and as iterated more times than it needed to be, my problems with the interaction of Jarek and Rio. But this is a nice issue. It gives us some more. It more fully fleshes out Stormer, yes, but also indirectly Pizzazz, who's just absolutely fascinating character in this run of stories. And we get a lot more characterization of Jetta and Roxy, which is nice to see. We're still early on in the book, but Jetta and Roxy were definitely just the other two misfits, right? So it's nice to get a sense of who they are as people as we move past the opening act of this full comics run. So yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. This issue has a new artist. It's fine. Nothing wrong with it. It's fine. But looking forward to reading more. I think next time is the Christmas special. Yeah, Christmas special. Yeah, Christmas.